What's up, everyone? Mitch from RespectMyRegion.com here with the first episode of the International Cannabis Podcast, joined by special guest Ian Rassman of Los Angeles NORML. How you doing today, Ian?
I'm awesome. Truly, what an honor to be here with you today at Respect My Region. I love it.
Well, I'd say today, but it's tonight. It's like 10 p.m. or something in Berlin where you're checking in, man.
It is. It's late, but you can see it. It's actually 10:30, but you can see there's still light in the sky behind me. It's not completely dark yet.
Okay. Living your life. You know, I know you got, you and Joey got to run around the ICBC out in Spanibus. I sadly was not able to join you guys, live vicariously through both of your guys' Instagram stories. Kind of curious, what's it look like in Germany? Because obviously Spain has a little bit more of a cannabis culture and system in place. I know Germany's kind of trying to get there, but obviously not quite as advanced. What's cannabis look like over there right now?
Well, there's no cannabis to be found anywhere around here at the moment, unless you know a guy. But fortunately, I'm at the International Cannabis Business Conference, so there's a few guys here. And so we've been able to find it, but it's actually on a little more serious level. It's highly unavailable at the moment. It's like it was back in the States, quite some time ago. So everybody's looking at Germany as the next big thing that's really going to tip the scales all over Europe. It's one of the world's largest economies. They are probably closest to legalizing cannabis. It seems like maybe by the end of the year, there could be some substantial movement on that. But even if there is, it's going to take a moment before the supply chain gets into place, before the plants are grown, because, once it's legal, then you got to start growing the plants. So we're still a ways off. Even once it becomes legal here in Germany, we're a bit of a ways off from actually just walking into a dispensary and getting it. So, but everybody's watching Germany for sure, because it's going to be a tipping point all over Europe. Germany's going to be looked at as an example.
I love that. And I've been seeing the headlines. Obviously, we got you, the reporter on the ground today. At the ICBC, is it a lot of attendees from Germany? Is it from all over Europe, all over the world? What's kind of the makeup of the crowd look like?
I would say it's really all over the world. Yeah, sure. There's plenty of German companies and representatives here, but I wouldn't say any great majority, honestly. There's a lot of people from all over Europe. This is really a big show in Europe. I'm running into people from Los Angeles, like me, people from a lot of Canadians here as well, too, by the way. And really all people from all over the world. Everybody's really waiting to see what happens in Germany. They're wondering whether there's going to be export, import, if that's going to affect them in Spain or their country. So there's a lot riding on the table. Germany's up there in the top 5 economies in the world. So people are watching.
Is it look like, because obviously there's a lot of seed banks and seed companies in Europe. Is it a lot of that? Is it a lot of just business shakers? Is there like a CBD and hemp industry out there? What's kind of the makeup in terms of the types of companies that are out there?
There's definitely a hemp industry out here, industrial hemp associations. There is a lot of activity in CBD and hemp for sure, because until the THC is legalized, these are the only avenues. So yeah, they're in it. They're well represented here.
And then you said it's difficult to find cannabis, so I'm assuming it's probably difficult to kind of safely consume it. What's that like?
Actually, like? It is surprisingly, it's easier to consume it. So as we've been able to obtain it here at the conference, nobody's worried about busting it out in a legit smoking area at 5-star hotels. We're all hanging out at the main entrance smoking. One of my friends had some weed, and he had already rolled up his joint, and he was about to light up when he noticed a police officer. So he went over and he asked the police officer, said, "Hey, I have a medical cannabis license and I'm about to light up my joint. Do you want to see it?" And the cop said, "Nope, it's all good." So there's significant allowance for it. You're not going to run into trouble if you're caught with it. They're way past that. But you just can't sort of get it. So if it falls from the sky, you're totally fine to smoke it in front of the police.
Yeah, if you reach into your pocket and you happen to find, a rolled up sandwich bag in there, it sounds like it's fair game, huh?
Fair game, and you're not going to get in trouble. So there's really a lot of allowances. I mean, the medical cannabis is here. It's a legit thing in Germany. And I'll be honest with you. I worked in Germany in the '90s, like '95 through '98, and even back then, I remember it really wasn't an issue to get cannabis. Actually, it seemed like it was easier back then. Maybe that was Frankfurt. This is Berlin. Maybe that's the difference. But in the '90s, I didn't seem to have much trouble. You just went to a park, you'd find somebody, you could get some. I think it's been socially acceptable for quite a long time. It's just not been legal.
Yeah, which makes that supply chain a little bit, you got to know somebody, man. It's not as out in the public. With the ICBC, what have been some of the main?
Just 1 second, I don't hear you over the that German ambulance. I don't know if you can hear that there.
I've only heard it in the movies previously, so now I'm hearing it somewhat more in real time.
All right, go ahead, Mitch. What was that?
So at the ICBC, what are some of the main talking points that you feel like people are talking, whether it's panels or discussions or just what the word on the floor is? What are the main points people are talking about?
I'll have to tell you, I really appreciate that people talk about cannabis here as a medicine. There's obviously a lot of interest in the rec market, but when you hear people here at the conference talking about cannabis, it's quite often framed in the medical phrase. So that's really fantastic. I love hearing that. There's very wide acceptance for medicinal cannabis. Really, most of Europe.
That's what and that's what we've been hearing and seeing over these years. And I know, like, when you were out in Spain, they obviously have the dispensaries and lounges. I know cannabis is still a little bit weird. You guys dealt with some roadblocks simply having cannabis on your person out there. You feel like Germany's, even though it's not as legal out there, you feel like it's more chill, I guess, to have weed on you?
100%. I would rather smoke a joint in front of a German cop than a Spanish cop any day of the week. Yeah, isn't that funny? Like, for sure. Like, so Barcelona, to your point, has over 200 cannabis clubs, like, that are known by the city. Like, Barcelona knows about these ones. These are the ones that have, that they've hired an attorney and they've registered and they've been through some sort of process. And here in Germany, there's zero. You just sort of have to know where to get it. But if you can get it, then you're okay to have it.
And what's the quality of the bud looking like out there?
It's been pretty good. I would say it's definitely pretty good. There's a lot of hash here, honestly. I think that's historical as well. It's a bit easier to transport, in the old markets, things are coming, a lot of hash is coming from North Africa. I suspect that's probably still true. So there really is a lot of hash here, and very much European style. You roll up some tobacco with some cannabis and some hash. It all goes into the joint, and you're smoking all three. That's not usually how we're doing it back at home, right? Like, we generally mix in the tobacco, but it is what it is here, and I've been doing what I have to do. When it gets passed around, there's not a lot. You can't be so choosy, so you just take it.
Puff and choke. That's, I guess.
Pretty much. I don't like the nicotine, the tobacco ad, but it is what it is here.
It's harsh, but I guess it opens up the lungs, man. Makes you feel it more. I don't know, whatever they say.
It opens something up.
So
I think quality's good though.
That's good to hear. So you've ran into some people from the States that you didn't know were going out there as well?
I did, for sure. I think that these ICBC shows really do pull in the creme de la creme from the States. So I would say that it's much easier to run into some of the big shots in the industry here in Berlin than it would be to run into one of them at MJ BizCon. Good luck finding them. So here, it's a smaller conference. I mean, the floor space was actually huge. I'm just going to guess there was over 200 vendors, and quite a diversity the vendors that were there as well. You had extraction equipment, all the different equipments. You had a lot of CBD companies. You have a lot of software companies, a lot of vape companies, hardware, and really pretty diverse bunch of vendors that were exhibiting.
Is there any vendors that stick out in terms of had a really good activation, or people are hovering around their booths kind of in greater numbers?
I would say, all right, so I'm from LA. We have a local hardware company there in LA called iSpire. I'm sure you know them. And they had a rockin' booth. They were hosts at the party maybe 2 nights ago. And they got a lot of attention. I mean, they have nice products. So they were getting a lot of attention. And, you know, they're like all of half a mile from me in LA, which I never see them in LA, but I run into them in Barcelona, in Berlin. It's like I got to come to Europe to see my friends from LA.
Hey man, it be like that. That was my when I first started going to cannabis conferences. That's what I always told people. Surprisingly, I got to network with people from my hometown in a way I just never do regularly. It's stupid that we have to pay all this money and travel so far away, but it just, the dynamic changes. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's pretty special though, because, you know, you're sharing beers in Germany, and, you know, after the conference, like today, we really spent a fair amount of time. The conference ended yesterday. So today was really sightseeing day number 1 for all the people at the conference that didn't go home right away. So we had 11 of us rolling around Berlin today, just playing tourists. And that was fantastic. So, you know, even though we're all running around playing tourists, you know, we're talking industry stuff all day long. So, you know, it's work light.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always work, but you know,
Yeah,
the most enjoyable part of the work for sure.
Yeah. No doubt.
What's the CBD like out there? Like, is it sold at kind of convenience stores and like the bodega style, or is it a little bit more like medical and hidden?
I don't know the answer to that question. I have not seen it. I just a few minutes ago went into what we might consider a liquor store back home, a little convenience store, picked up a few accessories, some papers, pipe, whatnot. I did not notice any CBD. Truthfully, I have not. You know, like we sort of see some questionable CBD products showing up at gas stations back at home. By the way, note for all you viewers, don't do that. And but I have not seen that here. So I don't know where the CBD is coming from, but I have not seen it in sort of the stores where you think you might find it.
Yeah, they're not on the hype. The overplayed out CBD burgers at Jack in the Box and stuff like that, huh?
Yeah.
What do you feel like, you know, out there can learn from, you know, cannabis from us in the States who have had legal cannabis for a while? What do you feel like some of the main things that Germany can learn? I know there's a lot, but what are a few of those things?
You know, I think that the European market has a lot to learn from all the mistakes that we've made. They have the advantage of following us and watching our missteps and seeing where they can do better. So I think that they are going to do better in a lot of regards. We're going to see when Germany comes out with their legislation, possibly by the end of the year. I think we'll get a better picture of what that looks like. And at the moment, we don't really know. So, you know, are they going to consider issues of imprisonment? You know, when they legalize it, does that mean they're also going to take everybody out of jail that's been in jail? Are they going to expunge records? Are they going to find the people who have criminal records from cannabis? Are they going to give those people an advantage into the industry? You know, these are all the issues that we've dealt with back at home, and not very well, of course. But these are the issues to be dealt with. And I think that hopefully they take a lesson from us, and they come out, when they come out with their legislation, that they just immediately step forward with these strong initiatives like, okay, everybody gets out of jail. We're just starting right there. Everybody's out of jail. And let's find the people that have been harmed by the war on drugs here. And let's make sure that if they choose, that they have an opportunity to get into the market and into the game for the time that they've spent. So I hope that they're going to do better on these issues than we have. They certainly have the opportunity, and they've certainly watched us flounder through it. And I hope they do better.
Was a chance for them to prove, are all politics worthless or just American politics? You know, I don't.
Yeah. I think I hope that they do better. I really hope so.
Yeah, and then too, you know, you said the consumption, you said the police don't really care, is walking around smelling like weed, smoking weed, to the people, is the public perception? Are you getting dirty looks for smelling like weed? Or
No, not really. I mean, we've been, you know, today as we were sightseeing, we were lighting up joints at this thing and that thing, and maybe a couple times we got looked at like, I'm not sure if it was envy or scorn, but you know, we got attention a couple times, but it totally wasn't an issue. And I don't think anybody's worried about like running into the police, as long as you're mostly respectful, kind of sticking to a smoking area, if you will. I don't think it's too much of an issue. Not like you remember what happened to Joey and I in Barcelona. It's not like that.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting, right? Being in a place that has, like you said, over 200 clubs, and then still having the public perception be that, you know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that was pretty strange in Barcelona. A little scary for a moment. I don't think that any of us truly recognized what we were about to do when we dropped off our little shoulder bags onto the conveyor belt at Sagrada de Familia. I don't think any of us had any idea what was about to go down.
Almost became political prisoners that day, man. It was yeah. I think they're an ally or some.
Yeah.
So no, that's interesting. Where else are you headed next in the world? I mean, obviously you probably headed back to LA. You got any other international travel plan?
There are so many great things coming up. I think in September there's a great show coming up in Jamaica. I've not been to Jamaica, so that seems like a good excuse. There is a cannabis retreat put on by ICBC in Croatia, I think September, followed by another ICBC in Zurich in September. What else is on the agenda? I think those are some of the bigger shows that are between now and the end of the year. I do want to try and make all of those, especially Jamaica.
Yeah, as long as you got service, we need you checking in from all of them, man. We need
know it. You know it. Let's go.
And then we got Bill from Beard Bros said, "What's up, Ian?" He chimed in.
Fantastic. Yeah, love the Beard Bros.
They're all right, man. Sure. They're all right. Let's not give them too much credit. They're all right. Those are the guys. I gotta watch what I say. They got some ammo on me. I gotta be political. They're cool. They're real great guys. No, that's the homies, man.
For sure. Hey, all of us good people hang together.
Yeah, we gotta flip each other a little shit, and then big each other up when we need it. So
that's right. It's a very friendly industry between all of us.
Absolutely. Well, Ian, I appreciate you hopping on here. I don't want to hold you too much in the evening, and we got another show running in like 10 minutes. So I'll get out and let them get in the studio and get some stuff moving. But really appreciate you checking in from the ICBC out there in Berlin. And always, it's great seeing your face, man. You know, whether it's in person or digitally, man, always good seeing you.
Always great hanging out. Truly honored to know you guys. I appreciate all the good work and the good information that you guys put out there. You guys are amazing, and I love you guys.
Likewise, man. The love is mutual, man. We'll see you when you're, I'll see you in LA before then, but the people will see you on here when you're in Jamaica, I'm sure.
Let's go, man.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Peace out, brother.